your two hosts, Carlos and Dylan.
Touchdowns, home run.
Episode of SwampCast with Brandon Olson from Locked On Gators and my co-host and friend Dylan Olive from Gators SI. How you doing? How you doing today, guys?
Doing wonderful, man. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
Good
for
to be back.
responding, because, like I tell Dylan, sometimes you message somebody and you never hear from them. Not even, hey, I got your message. They don't even look at your message.
No, I'm always here for the response, and I'm someone that, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you don't respond, I'm gonna hit you right back again. I'm just gonna be like, hey, just make sure you saw this. Like, I'll be pushy with it. Gotta assert yourself a little bit.
Yeah, but some of them, unfortunately, if you're not verified, they don't even let you message them. I'll give you one, and it's not a hit to him. I would love to have him on the channel, Gator Dave. I'm not verified yet, so I can't message him.
Yeah, that's life. That's one of the reasons that I made sure to get verified, was so that I can reach out to people that I needed to reach out to.
All right, guys. First question. Well, this one's more for Dylan. Maybe you might have more information on it too, Brandon. Any updates on the availability report, guys?
Yeah, I'll take that one first, and then I'll let you go, Brandon. I didn't really see too much, new. Obviously we kind of knew that Duke Clark was in a sling after the game. It looks like they already announced that he's out, so I think that kind of shows that that's a little bit more of a long-term thing, not a immediate return for him. Jacoby Jackson is questionable. I think we see him this week. That's how I'm reading the situation, just because, especially now with Duke Clark out, you kind of need him back quicker than you kind of expected. But yeah, other than that, not too many surprises. I'd say, it's the Gators. They're always going to have 6 or 7 guys on that questionable and on that out, it feels like. So it's tough, but I think, Jacoby Jackson coming back would be big for them. And that's the only name that I kind of, stood out to me.
How about you, Brandon?
Yeah, I think that a lot of it, like Tony Livingston being listed as questionable, we'll see what that looks like. If he's available, he's available. If not, I'd be very interested to know if we'd see more 11 personnel from Florida, or if we'd finally see Amir Jackson get some kind of run. I remember seeing him on the field, I think just one play against Texas. He ran motion wheel route, didn't get thrown the ball, but I'm looking forward to seeing it though. So I'd be very interested to see what happens there. Devin Manuel came in when Austin Barber left with the helmet pop off. Yes. Not sure what that is, but I mean, I feel like a lot of these names are not surprises. Just Mbachu's been missing games. Moise Tunkara was questionable last game. Jacoby Jackson was out last game. Like, it's a big list. I'm going to step on my soapbox for a second here to just say,
no problem.
I feel like Florida just reports more than everybody else. Like, I refuse to believe Texas A&M has one guy out, one guy questionable, and everyone's really healthy. I feel like Florida just reports everything, and I feel like when schools know someone is out for the year, they just stop listing them on the report.
Exactly.
That's clear. But for Florida, we've got a few guys here, like Dijon Johnson, we've been told, is out for the year. Caleb Banks, I'm expecting to be out for the year. And it's like, they're still on the report every week. I don't get the logic behind it, but that's just where I land on why Florida's list is always exponentially larger than everyone else's.
Dylan knows my take on this. I prefer Jacoby to be out because of the fact that Napier gets rotation happy, and then Ba doesn't get enough of the ball. We just saw what I predicted at the beginning of the year last game, and Jacoby sit on the bench and get 100% healthy. I give 27, 30 carries.
We'll see if he'll do it. We'll see. I'd feel like, knowing Napier, even like if Ball's healthy, or if Jacoby's not healthy, there's still going to be some kind of rotation. Like it's going to be either Jacoby Jackson or KD Daniels or Byron Lewis, and I'd rather have Jacoby than KD or Byron. Love them both, but like, there's a reason Duke Clark passed them both up.
Yes, of course. Is there any thing that the defense and the offense can take advantage of in terms of weaknesses against Texas A&M? Because they look like a stout team.
Yeah, I think
first there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think when you look at if you can keep Texas A&M into these 3rd and longs, it's gonna be real tough for them. Where Marcel Reed on 3rd and 7 plus, Marcel Reed is completing 38% of his passes right now, which, just for comparison's sake, DJ Lagway, who I think a lot of people have felt like, hey, especially on 3rd and long, he's been pretty bad this year, is still completing 50% of his passes. So a pretty sizable jump there from someone that Gators fans have gone, hey, he's struggling in this situation. He's still performing better than Marcel Reed there. So I think that's going to be a big thing. Is this is going to be, a Texas A&M rushing attack that just pounds the rock. I've said, they're what Kentucky wants to be, if that makes Kentucky, they want to just make these things ugly and physical and out-grit you and out-grind you the whole time. And Texas A&M has the wallet to do that. And so I think that's really key, is just not letting them drag you down, make them try to play a little bit of finesse on offense. And if Marcel Reed beats you throwing the football, then Marcel Reed beats you throwing the football. But that's a decision that you're going to have to live with.
Yeah, kind of adding on that. I mean, I took a look at their PFF grades a little bit. I've watched some of their tape. I think, in those situations, 3rd down, passing downs, they're not on the O-line. They're not as solid as I think they want to be. And I mean, we saw it against Texas. Earlier in the year, Florida didn't have the pass rush that we kind of expected. They didn't have a pass rush that was kind of changing the game. I think that was the one thing on our defense where we were like, this could be better. If they can get them to 3rd and longs, if they can get them into situations where we can send our guys, we can send, our talent off the edge, we can send a linebacker, even a corner. We saw a lot of corner blitzes work against Texas. I think that's where the situation where, Florida would really thrive. And I think, when you get them in a situation like that, even though it's an away game, I think you get them on your heels a little bit and you make them kind of shake a little. And I think that's where you can find their weakness and exploit it.
Is Texas A&M overrated? Are they really as good as people think?
I won't say overrated. I do think they're a great team. I think they're going to finish with a better record than Florida, probably. I've said I think Florida's going to win this game only because I think Florida's got a really good matchup for Texas A&M. But Texas A&M, and this isn't the same case as with Texas. Going into the Texas game, I feel like everybody was like, okay, they've got a ton of hype. They lost their one Power 4 game. They beat a bunch of nobodies. They beat basically us 3 out there. We're playing against them. It was nothing. And so I feel like a lot of people went all right, well, Texas is overrated. We think they're now 0-2 against Power 4 teams. They were overrated. Texas A&M has gone out there, beaten 2 SEC teams, beat Notre Dame. They're a good team. I don't know if they're going to finish top 5. I do think that, in the SEC, you're going to lose some games. You're going to drop some games, especially their style. If a team gets up early on them, it's going to be real tough for them to bounce back. But I still think they're a damn good team. And maybe not top 5, but I still think they're, at this point, looking like a playoff team.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. That resume is awesome. I mean, even, last week they beat Mississippi State. It wasn't much of a talking point, but everyone was super high on Mississippi State after their start of the year. Everyone was kind of pointing out this program's on the rise. This program's kind of, turned it around, and they throttled them, man. It was a tough game. I think, like Brandon said, I'm not sold on them being top 5, but I don't think there's a team in the country right now where, other than maybe Miami and Oregon, where you're kind of like, yeah, that they've looked like a top 5 team every game they played. And even, those games, those 2 teams, you can kind of argue one way or the other. So I think, just because the landscape of college football right now, everyone's losing when they're not supposed to. And all these games are so wild that I don't think they're overrated because, they're undefeated and they've had some really quality wins. But I think, we'll see if they're really this good and top 5 worthy in the next coming games, and especially against Florida. I think we're a good test for them. I wish it wasn't just a test. I wish we were, right there up there with them. But I think at this point we're the the guys that can be a problem for a top 5 team. So I think it'll be a good test for them to see if they're really top 5 worthy.
Dylan, to bounce off what you said, I believe we're there with him. It's just a matter of there's this coach, which I'm not going to mention his name. He gets it in his own way.
Very true.
I wonder who that would be. all he had to do was beat USF. I'll say that all he had to do was beat USF, and we're having a completely different conversation.
Exactly. Do you guys expect something from the special teams? Not necessarily a block. I'm talking about VB3. Maybe is that a weak spot for Texas A&M?
I think so. Texas A&M, their punt coverage not great. I do think that returning is a. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, touchdown incoming, but I do think that there's opportunities out there for VB3 to get solid return, and I think this is one of those areas where pretty much in Billy Napier's entire tenure, I think a lot of people went, hey, like we want someone more dynamic at returning kicks, returning punts. Now you have that, and it's putting your offense in better position, and it turns out that the offense really needed it this year. So I like that we finally have that back in Gainesville, and so I do think VB3's got a shot for just some decent returns. Again, not saying touchdown, but nice little setting up the offense for something good.
Yeah, I think, Brandon mentioned it. This punt return game, returning in general, has been a huge plus for Florida when it wasn't really like that in past years. Obviously, VB3 with the ball in his hands at any point is super fun, super exciting. So I like it. I mean, on special teams in general, I mean, we saw it against Texas. A huge special teams play gets you kind of all the momentum you needed. Obviously, that same coach who can't get out of his own way, kind of let up off the gas after that. But
yes,
it was still a huge play that kind of let them take their foot off the gas in a way. So I think, if we do see, I'm not going to go out there and say we do see a huge play, but if we do, I think, people underestimate how much a good special teams play can change an entire game. And I think, we talked about it. Florida's offense needs a boost, even though they looked really good against Texas. They still have been struggling. So I think a boost in the return game could be all Florida needs to maybe sneak this one and take it from Texas A&M in their own stadium.
This question, you can bounce off of it, Dylan, but you've answered it before. I'm going to just ask it to Brandon. Do you think Sturdivant's a bust based on what Napier's been able to do in the past in the transfer portal? Because I've been telling Dylan, we finally found our number 1 and number 2 wide receiver for real, and that's Dallas Wilson and VB3.
Yeah. I don't like using the word bust.
Okay, you can use whatever.
But as far as has he lived up to expectations, not at all. I think that when Michael Sturdivant came over, like myself included, we were like, oh, like, film looks good at UCLA. Film looks good at Cal. It's just quarterback play was awful, and he just hasn't done anything as we expected, I guess, at this point.
Yeah.
We haven't seen like breakaway speed from him in the SEC. He had that one, I think it was a drag, and it was like, oh, like there's no one in front of him. But the moment he caught it and tried to turn, he got tackled right away. And it's just like, I get like got to separate a little bit. So he doesn't really have that. But as far as like value as a chain mover, as far as value as, I don't know, a receiver actually willing to block, I think he provides value. I just don't think it's nearly as much as a lot of Gators fans, myself included, anticipated when he came over.
Do we have a besides VB3, I'm talking about a regular tight end that can go down the seam. Do we have that tight end? Because the aforementioned tight ends are not that.
It would have to be Amir Jackson, but look, and I feel like because since last year when Amir Jackson joined the roster, so much of the conversation was like, oh, well, he's Kyle Pitts. Like that's going to be him. And it's just two things. One, no tight end is ever playing in year 1 under Billy Napier unless he gives up reign of the offense. I've had, for those that don't know, I've Hayden Hansen on the show every week. And he always tells me, like, they call it the figure it out position because there's just so many different responsibilities where, like, you could be lined up with an edge rusher and he's head up on you. and you have this responsibility, and then he shifts to be outside your shoulder, and all of a sudden everything's different about your responsibility. So it's mentally just really difficult, but physically you need to be able to block, because Billy Napier, as long as he's calling plays, you're going to see 12 personnel. And if you're seeing 12 personnel with a guy that can't block, it's going to be brutal. And so I think that's what's been holding Amir Jackson back. Like, look, in high school, he was a receiver. Watch his high school film. He's running end arounds. He's getting screens. Like, he was a receiver more than anything. He's moving the tight end. It's going to take a little bit. Now, where the criticism fully fits, Billy should have done a better job filling out the rest of the tight end room throughout his entirety of his tenure here, because you've got Hayden Hansen, who is in his 4th year. You've got Tony Livingston, who was supposed to be part of that class, but ended up like coming in the following year after. And that's all that plays. Amir played 1 snap. Scott Isaacs doesn't play. Caleb Rillos ended up like medically retiring and is now helping the coaching staff, if I'm not mistaken. Like, that's what the tight end room looks like. And I will say, like, I like the top of it, genuinely. But as far as, looking like a dynamic playmaker depth-wise, it's not there at all for Florida. And that's a thing where we can say, hey, Billy, you didn't do well enough there for someone that wants to have 2 tight ends on the field as often as you do.
Yeah, definitely. I think Amir, Carlos, you mentioned a passing threat. I think Amir is the best that we've seen in a while. Hayden Hansen, he gets involved in the passing game, but I wouldn't go out there and say
he's got like
vertical threat.
4.5, 4.7 speed.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Napier goes faster than him.
Well, I don't know. I think, Amir is the closest we have to that. But, as Brandon mentioned, it takes a lot more than to just be a good wide receiver to be a tight end. If they needed to be a good wide receiver, they'd be playing wide receiver. You know what I mean? So I think we see more of him, and I think we have to see more of him, unless Tony Livingston does play. But, we'll see with that situation. But I think Florida, a lot of fans have wanted to see Amir Jackson more. He's the exciting guy in that room where it's like, you want to see the Kyle Pitts. You want to see the fun guy. Everyone loves the athletic tight end who's running all over the place, catching passes. So I think it will be fun to see him. We'll see if he's made those improvements. I mean, he's still super young. He's been banged up a little bit here and there. I know he entered this year. We got to watch him in practice. He was wearing the black jersey. He was banged up. But when I watched him, I mean, he's exciting. He's an exciting football player. It's just about doing the things you need to do to be a good tight end. And I think we'll see if he's kind of stepped up in that way against Texas A&M. And you never know. Every year you kind of see these players midway through the year, whether it's due to injury, whether it's due to guys struggling, they come in and they shock a lot of people. So this is a perfect opportunity for him. I think, he's got to kind of grab onto it and he's got to do a lot of things right. But you never know. This could be a turning point where we could say, oh, it was nice to see Amir Jackson break out, against Texas A&M.
This is for both of you, and I apologize, Dylan, for beating a dead horse. But the transfer portal changed, or is going to change in 2026. If Billy were to get fired, do we expect a lot of people to jump and this coach to basically have an empty barrel? Because now the quote-unquote thing is you can't leave until the coach is hired or announced.
I think it depends on who the hire is. If it's I'm going to say this not because I'm like, oh, hire this guy, but like it's the one that everyone on Twitter talks about. Like if it's like a Lane Kiffin, like a bunch of guys are going to stay probably, right? Like they're going to be like, oh, that's fun. Any receiver, any quarterback is going to say, oh, I could do this. If it's I don't know who's the other common name, Dan Lanning, which isn't friggin' happening.
No,
just get that one out the way right now. If it's Dan Lanning, every defensive player is going to be like, oh hell yeah, that would be a lot of fun. Personally, not that either of those are happening in my opinion, but
I don't think neither are happening.
Yeah, but just hypothetically, like it would depend. Yeah. If those are the names, then sure. If you go hire, I don't know, whoever's the coach at. Yeah. Like if you go hire like it's someone that people aren't going to be moved by, you're probably going to lose a lot. Like, look, I'm a Toledo guy. If they hire Jason Candle, players are going to leave. All right, like I love Jason Candle, but like, players are going to be like, who the hell is that guy? And they're going to duck out. And so it's stuff like that. I think a lot of it's going to now depend on who you hire. And I do think that puts universities and players in really good spots because, a lot of times you'd see coach fired, bunch of guys hit the portal.
Yes.
And then you lose your spot with the new coach if he comes in, if he's not willing to take you. But also a lot of times we see guys leave and then that hurts your development because you're jumping to a new spot. Like Jaden Rashada is someone who I think a lot of us were like, oh yeah, a lot of physical talent. I think everybody agreed with that.
Yeah.
Then he tried coming to Florida. That didn't happen. So he went to Arizona State. Then he went to Georgia. And then he's at Sacramento State. And he's had no development at all because he doesn't stay with anybody to go, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. Let's fix this.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we talked about it a little, Carlos. We mentioned.
That's why I said sorry for beating a dead horse.
No, all good. I love talking about this stuff because in the end, you got to be prepared at some point, especially with how we've looked so far. I think, obviously the coaching situation, like Brandon mentioned, and we mentioned before, I think an underrated aspect of it is, a lot of fans on Twitter, a lot of, even people in the media, everyone's going to be like, oh, this guy's so good. Dallas Wilson's so good, but he's definitely leaving because he's way better than the university. I think an underrated part of it is, the relationships that they have, not even within the coaching staff, because obviously in changeover, you're going to lose that, but with the players on the team. We talked to Vernell Brown on Monday. He talked about how him and Dallas Wilson won the, I think it was 7-on-7 tournament back when they were like.
Yeah, I remember that. I did a video on that.
Yeah. I mean, their relationship, I think the whole freshman class, if you're on TikTok, you see them making TikToks together all the time. Dallas Wilson walks through campus every day and makes a TikTok, and I'm pretty sure Vernell Brown is recording for him. They're always together. And I think that's an underrated aspect of it is, the players know that they're talented, and the players know that they have a lot of talent in the locker room. So, it might be Disney Gator. It might be, looking glass half full. But I do believe that a lot of players are playing for the university more than they're playing for just the coach right now. I mean, obviously, the obvious ones are Vernell Brown. The obvious ones are Miles Graham, the guys that, were born Gators. But I think that those relationships will kind of make it surprising for some people because I think, the big name now is, oh, will Dallas Wilson leave? And, it seems easy to just say yes because obviously he's so good. Everyone will want him. They'll be paying him millions of dollars to come to their school. But at the same time, you got to remember, he's an 18-year-old kid with his best friends on the team right now, and they have great relationships. So I think, I'm never going to say a guy will leave or a guy will stay because you see it every year. Jack Pyburn, everyone was like, that guy's Gator through and through. And now he's trolling the Florida squad as he wins with a rival. So I'm never going to say, for sure that people are staying. But I think, with whatever coach we have next year, I think this roster is a lot of them are bought into being a Florida Gator more than anything. So I think, there's a chance to retain those players if done correctly.
Anything that we can take away from the wonderful pressure of Billy Napier, even though he likes to hide a lot of stuff and does a lot of coach speak and doesn't really want to answer questions, especially after Cam did what he did, after the guy from Swamp 24/7 asked him a question and he pretty much slapped him without touching his face because he didn't want to answer the question.
Yeah. I'll take that one, but I missed Wednesday. Unfortunately,
Okay.
I was sadly watching the Yankees get destroyed. That was awful. A bad decision to miss that. I should have just went there. I don't appreciate that, Brandon. Too soon, Brandon. Too soon.
I'm a Mets fan, so my life is misery.
Right. At least you guys have Juan Soto. But I did watch it. I did.
Yeah, but what did he win? What did he win? The Mets? Nothing.
Yeah.
I'm a Mets fan too, so don't get me wrong. I'm a Mets and Marlins fan.
Oh man, I'm surrounded by them. That's not my favorite. But I talked to Cam a little bit. I watched the press conference. I got the transcripts and all that. I thought, there was a question that Cam asked about Eugene Wilson, and you mentioned it.
I mentioned it in our post game show that Eugene is demoted to 3 or 4 now because
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
That's kind of what Cam asked, and you know, you mentioned how Billy Napier he does get a little, you know, aggressive
Rotation
sometimes when he doesn't like the question. But I think, you know, on this specific question, I think he kind of took it as, you know, disrespect to Eugene, and he was protecting his player. You got to respect that. You know, at the end of the day, that's his job, is to, you know, protect his players. You know, you want to coach. If you're a player, you want a coach that will protect you. So that was the one question that stuck out a little. I think he understands that Eugene is not getting the usage that, you know, he expected. I think everyone expected. So we'll see if that changes. I mean, we've been asking him questions about that for 2 years now. We've been asking them for a while, you know. So you got to hope that Eugene gets going. But I mean, we talked about it on the postgame show, Carlos. There's a lot of good wide receivers in this room now, and there's 2 freshmen that are, you know, showing out no matter what. So I think it's kind of a Eugene thing now, where it's like you got to step up to the plate, man. We got to see what you did your freshman year, or, you know, there's no reason not to send out other guys.
I'm going to be facetious with this, but you should ask Billy this question. You're protecting your player, but can you protect his draft prospects? Because he's going down.
That is very true. His stock is dropping fast.
Because he hasn't played much. He was supposed to be the next Percy Harvin.
Yeah, well, he's played. He just hasn't
But
produced
he's not
much.
the next Percy Harvin.
Yeah.
Which,
it's unfortunate.
In his defense, we gotta stop doing that. We gotta stop going, oh, he's Percy, he's Kyle Pitts, he's this. Like, we gotta stop doing that.
I was being facetious.
Like, yeah, he's the next Antonio Callaway. Like, just give him that. Like, just give him some. Not, he's the next most dynamic guy to ever touch the football field for Florida. Like, it just crushes these expectations and results, man.
Yeah.
Again, do you think the bottom the barrel is going to be pretty bare if Billy were to get fired, and the next coach is going to have to build it up?
Depends on who it is. Because I think one thing that
because the crybaby, what's his name? Crybaby Mullen left it pretty bare.
Yeah, I think that the baseline will be significantly higher than Mullins was. But I also think that we can talk about, you know, the logo and like there's going to be so many factors that go into this with like who the head coach is, what side of the ball does he coach, stuff like that. Also, one thing that I don't think coaches get enough credit or blame for either side is how competitive a program is NIL wise, like financially. Like we see Lane Kiffin goes on Twitter and he's just like, he'll like tweet about the boosters at Ole Miss if he's pissed about something. Like he'll tweet about it and he'll just let them know. Like people get mad and people say like that's childish, but like look at what they did the year after he tweeted that. That was the year they went into the portal and they got everybody. And it's like stuff like that matters with just being able to. Because you could be a jerk if you're going to win games. No one will care. Like if you're going to be Lane Kiffin and you're going to be a jerk about some stuff, which is not an insult in this case. And like boosters won't care if you're calling them out publicly and talking trash publicly. If you're going out to win 10 games at Ole Miss every year, that's impressive. So I do think part of it will also depend how much NIL buy-in can you get from boosters, because a lot of these guys will go, all right, I'm going to get paid somewhere and I'm going to get the football somewhere. So I'm going to go chase it.
Yeah, I think NIL is kind of the biggest X factor in all of it, because at the end of the day, you know, Florida is going to retain some guys either way. I mean, we talked about the legacies. I don't see a world where Vernell Brown and Miles Graham leave unless it's really bad. And when that happens, there will be panic, because if that happens, that's something that can't happen. But, you know, there in this world of NIL, what's stopping you from, you know, obviously I'm not saying that this is a great idea, but there's nothing stopping you from paying DJ Lagway as much money as he wants to not leave. You know what I mean? There's nothing stopping you from offering Dallas Wilson the bag and saying, listen, we want you here. Don't leave. You know, we got a vision. So I think, you know, like Brandon said, there's so many factors that it's like, you know, it's not a reason to not fire a coach, and it's not a reason to fire coach. It's just, stuff's going to happen either way. I'm sure there's going to be people that are going to leave either way, and they were going to leave if Napier stayed, or if Napier's still here next year. So I think, it's a tough question.
Does Scott Strickland have any intake on the NIL that they throw at kids? Because
he doesn't have any sign. I can tell you that much.
That's my only fear. Because you're around because Todd Golden saved your job, but the football program's not where it's supposed to be.
I'll say this much about. And I hate saying this because it sounds like I'm defending Scott Strickland, and I hate that man so much. NIL roster wise, this is a damn good football team.
Yeah, I know that
they're 2-3, but this is a damn good football team. It's strictly.
I'm asking the questions because of X, not because of me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just saying, Scott's gonna be around. So whatever he does, I think he doesn't have many brain cells, but I'm assuming he has enough to know this is a good football team. It really is. The only crappy part is that the two most important parts of the program are where you kind of crap the bed in the first month of the season, because it was head coach and quarterback were the two people failing you early on. Which I don't care to hold that against DJ or anything like that. I'm just saying that's what it was. He wasn't playing well. That's football. So Scott will have some say in things. He'll have say, especially I would imagine in the fundraising aspect of things, where now revenue sharing's part of college football or college athletics. But I can't imagine them seeing this roster and going, yeah, we're going to get outbid on these guys that have been here. I just can't imagine that happening. And if it does happen, it would just be yet another failure by this administration.
Yeah, I wish I knew, the in-depth of NIL, because I don't think anyone does, even if you work in it. I mean, there's so many stories coming out of, NIL is this wild landscape that still needs a lot of rules. But that being said, like Brandon mentioned, this roster is so good. I don't think you can complain about what Florida has done in the NIL. I mean, none of us know what they're paying, but we know that there's talented players here. We know that they had Dallas Wilson come here. They know that DJ Lagway came here. These are 5-star names that, any program would have took on, and any program was offering a lot of money to. So I don't think we can complain about that. And I don't think there's anything to say that we won't, drop the bank if this situation was to occur. I don't think there's anything saying, showing us that Florida is not competitive in the NIL landscape. The other thing I was going to say, not to defend Scott Strickland. I know a lot of people are not fans of him. I don't have an opinion either way, because I really don't. I haven't paid too much attention to what he's been doing. But I will say, a lot of people like to make it seem like he doesn't care about football, and to make it seem like he kind of, I got basketball to win a championship, so I'll let my buddy Billy Napier go out there and win some games, try to win some games at least. I was sitting next to him at the end of that Texas game. I posted a video about it on Twitter, and it went a lot of people were sharing their opinions on him.
I didn't see it. I saw him hug a lady at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's why he was celebrating, and it didn't look like a big celebration, but I was watching him through that last drive, man, and he looked like a fan. He was stressed the hell out. He was panicking. He was yelling. I think, something happened with a penalty or something, and he was yelling at our sidelines, don't accept the penalty. He looked like a fan. So I'll give him the credit where it's due. He cares from what I saw. I mean, he looked like a man that cares. I mean, you can say, he cares about his coach, who he really wants to coach there still. But either way, I give him that credit just to stand up for the guy who everyone loves to, beat up. And I'm not saying that I'm a Scott Strickland guy, but he cares. And, you got to give him a little bit of credit there. And you got to hope that he understands the same way that fans do, that this isn't the standard and something needs to change if it doesn't change on the football field.
All right, before we get to the pick'ems, I got one more question. What do you guys expect, or what do you want to see? Don't give me your 5 keys yet, because we're not there yet. What do you want to see from this team going into Kyle Field? And can we win this game? Don't be a Disney Gator like we are, but can we win this game? And if we win this game, are we back in the top 25?
Yes and yes. Yes, you can win. Yes, you should be back in the top 25. And
what do you expect from this team?
I need to see.
Yeah, DJ seems like he's injured still, and he's been injured from week 1. And Cam said this or wrote about this, that maybe if Billy survives, maybe we should not play week 1 and create our bye week 1, because he seems to be bye week Billy.
Use week 0 as the bye week. How about that? Everyone gets week 0 as a bye week, and he's just like, oh, well, we're on a level playing field now, and I can't do it. No, I need to see some kind of semblance of consistency from this offense. This defense has been balling the entire year. It's been ridiculous to see. Like, even the defense gets a ton of respect, and I still don't think it's enough respect. Like, it's crazy how the offense has shot them in the foot consistently, and the defense has gone, don't worry, we'll bail you out. Like, every single time. It's ridiculous. The offense, I need to see some kind of consistency. Just I don't need you to be amazing. I don't need you to be a 40-point team. Like, last week, I thought it was a good offensive performance from Florida. Not great. Like, you still scored 27 points. Like, you still scored 27. It wasn't like you did anything amazing, but you found out something on offense. And if you could do that, like, not many teams are going to score 27 on this Florida Gators defense right now. So just give me something respectable on offense consistently, just string them together for a couple weeks. I'll be happy with it.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can definitely win. I think, I've been saying this since week 1. I've been kind of looking stupid when they keep on losing, but they're good enough to beat any team at any time. I mean, we have one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best rosters in the nation. Just hasn't, looked that way, unfortunately. I think being ranked, yes, I think we should be ranked. I think, I'm never going to say we will be, because we've seen so many weeks with the AP poll that we don't know what the hell is going to happen. We don't know. They throw stuff out there every week where I'm like, really? Like, that's what we're doing? So I think we should be ranked, and I think with wins against Texas and Texas A&M, that's an awesome resume, builder. So I think that they would be hard to not rank us. As for what I want to see, I mean, I'm right there with you with the consistency. I think, Florida's offense, if they're just, like you mentioned, good, even, if they're just above average, is all we're really asking, because this defense has been phenomenal. Even Miami, who everyone kind of agrees is one of the best teams in the nation and has looked like it. Our defense, man, for almost 4 quarters, probably, you give them 3 quarters, maybe 3.5. They played their hearts out. They shut them down. I mean, I always mention it. Cormani McClain caught the interception down 13-7. We had a shot late in that game to, because of our defense, to pull something out. But I think I need to see DJ Lagway on the road, keep his consistency. And I think this is kind of a newer problem, because last year, I mean, against Tennessee, he had that awesome drive. He looked like himself, but there was also, I hate that interception where he kind of just threw it to the Tennessee defender. And then, I wasn't too worried about him on the road until we saw LSU, and we saw how that went. I think that was his first true starting, experience in an SEC environment. This is his second. I need to see him look more comfortable. And I think, it's hard to say it was the road environment that made him look so uncomfortable against LSU, because he didn't look comfortable against USF, and he didn't look comfortable against Miami. He hasn't looked comfortable until Texas. So
and LIU, but I could play against LIU. I could have been DJing on LIU.
That's true too. There was a lot of concerns after LIU too. So I think that's just the big thing for me, is how can DJ Lagway kind of handle a road environment, especially now that you have momentum. Everyone's kind of saying, all right, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen now. I need to see him kind of play to his true potential in the environment that, you don't have all your fans chanting DJ Lagway, behind you, and you're getting yelled some mean things at you.
You can answer this too, even though I've already asked you the question before, Dylan. why do you think Billy's so stubborn in not playing TJ? Because I one of the pregame shows we did, specifically the LSU game, I said if he continues to struggle, why not put TJ in there? They pretty much have the same skill set, except TJ's younger. I understand the fact that Billy Napier doesn't want to play underclassmen, but why do you think he sees the kid struggle and doesn't want to make any changes?
DJ is someone who, and I was talking about this last year, and a bunch of my listeners were coming for my neck for it. He was good for a freshman, very good for a freshman. I don't think he was very good overall. He was just deep shot or nothing, and that's not sustainable football. And like Florida ended up winning games, and so it's like the same way, Dylan, that you were talking about, where I'm like, oh, like this is a great roster, we can win any game, and then you lose to USF, and it's like, oh, I look like an idiot. Like, the same way I was like, oh, like because I said the same exact thing. I was like, yeah, this is a college football playoff roster. With DJ, with DJ, it was last year. I was like, look, he doesn't play sustainable football, and until he starts, like, I'm not going to be fully bought in on the success of this team because you can only do that for so long, especially when they don't have the film on you yet. And it's like, you can only do that for so long. Exactly. He needed to develop. And a lot of where he needed to develop was mentally. And the only way that you're going to develop mentally is not doing the VR like he said he was doing, which even if he was, I don't care. It's different, man. Like, it's so different to have on a VR headset and have crowd noise and read defenses when you've got 320-pound defensive linemen breathing down your neck in real life. It's very different there. Or not even breathing down your neck. Look at the LSU game. They had so many coverages or so many protection
He got confused.
Yeah, Harold Perkins wasn't even 320-pound defensive lineman breathing down your neck. It was Harold Perkins running through your face. And they had issues like that. And it's like the only way he's going to get better, though, is by getting reps. That's it. Like you just need reps. Clearly against LSU, I think also like the confidence was just gone. Which like you look at him on the sideline after his like third or fourth pick, he looks like he's reading Chinese on the iPad. Like he has no idea what's going on over there. Confidence was shook. I think if you take him out, you only hurt his confidence more. At least letting him go. I think that's what it was really. I understand like if I were a coach, I would have pulled him. I would be like, there's no quarterback of mine is ever going to throw 5 interceptions because he's coming out before that 5th one. But I do think that the logic behind it was his confidence is shook. If we bench him, that's not helping his confidence. The only way he's ever going to get better is with reps. And the only way he's going to get reps is by going out there and doing it. And I think that's what it was. Again, if I were a coach, I would have yanked him, but then I disagree with Billy on so many things. Like even the timeout thing with Austin Barber, like I would have said keep the timeout in case.
Well, he explained it. Dylan explained it to me on the post-game show.
I got it. Like on my post-game show, I was like, I get the rule. I just would have rather had 3 timeouts because we were up 8. And so if they score, get 2 points, then we got 3 timeouts to use on offense.
No, I said the same thing.
Yeah, Billy's logic was probably, hey, well, if we use this one timeout now and convert the first down, the game's over. It doesn't matter. So I get it. I disagree with him on a bunch of things. As long as I could see the logic in it, I'm not going to kill him for stuff, which is kind of where I land on Lagway.
The thing I don't like about Billy, then you can bounce off Brandon, is that to me he doesn't have a killer instinct. I guess I was spoiled when and I cried when he retired. When Steve Spurrier retired, it was my first year at UF, and then I said they hired Ron Zook, and I looked at the TV. I was like, "Excuse my language, this is not for kids." Who the fuck is he?
Yeah. That's very true.
And that's the same reaction I had with Billy.
Yeah, but I mean, that's also like I feel like Billy, like I feel like every article that came out about who should this school hire, like Billy was on that list. I feel like, and then maybe that's me misremembering that, but I feel like every coaching hire that was available during that cycle, Billy Napier was on that list of who they want. Because he was thought of as like, the Saban guy and a Dabo guy, and he was winning and recruiting well at Louisiana and developing the line.
Bounce off him, and then I'll reply to what you just said about him being a Dabo guy, because I had one of my followers say something about, because I did a video about Billy after we lost to Miami, and then I just got a comment this week. After 2 weeks, I got a comment from somebody, and I'm gonna say what the person said after Dylan speaks. Go ahead, Dylan.
Yeah. To bounce off that sentiment right there, I mean, shout out Zach Albaverde. He's a writer for On3. He wrote something about Napier.
I've been trying to get him on the show, but that's one that I need to be verified for.
Yeah. He wrote something about Napier's play calling history, and I think, as someone who I believe when Napier was hired, I was either a freshman or going into my sophomore year, because I watched the last year of Dan Mullen, and then it was Napier. I was still kind of diving into the whole world of college football, so I didn't know too much about him. The same way you said, who the hell is Ron Zook? I was kind of like, all right, let me find out about this guy. So his article was awesome, and it kind of showed, there have been question marks about Billy Napier's offense for a while. Going back, I mean, I even wrote an article about Lagway, and I went into every starting quarterback Billy Napier has had in his time since Louisiana as a head coach, and he's never had someone throw for over 3,000 yards. Graham Mertz was the closest at UF until he got hurt that year.
Yep.
But, I think there's been a lingering kind of concern about Billy Napier's play calling. So that was an interesting one. Just give him a little shout out there. Just to bounce back on what we were talking about earlier about the DJ situation and starting TJ. I personally, Carlos, I've told you this a million times.
Yeah, I know.
We kind of.
I had asked. I wanted the Brandon's take.
Yeah, we differ a little, but I still think, DJ Lagway last year, we saw him come in, and like Brandon said, he wasn't an amazing quarterback altogether. As a freshman, he was an amazing quarterback, but altogether he wasn't this great quarterback. But he transformed Billy Napier's offense, and I think it was because of the deep shots. I mean, there was plays where I don't think any other quarterback makes the throw that DJ Lagway made in that situation. And I kind of stick to my guns that DJ Lagway makes Billy Napier's play calling and makes Billy Napier's offense so much better, and he kind of hides some of the stuff with
yeah,
Napier.
we've said that,
Yeah. So I think, I don't see a world ever where you sit DJ Lagway. I mean, 5 interceptions, it was brutal, and it was ugly, and I really wish there was a way that we could just say, all right, we give up on this game. Like, it's over,
Throw away flag.
But, yeah, I agree with Brandon that, he needs the reps, man. He's a young guy. I mean, it's the same as when you get a rookie quarterback in the NFL. They're learning on the go, and a lot of people love to say, oh, do the Jordan Love method where they sit for 3 years, but you can't do that.
You can't do that in college.
You can't do that in college football. And, at the end of the day, DJ Lagway is good enough to be a starting quarterback in the SEC. But at the same time, there's going to be those growing pains, and we've seen that for sure. But you see in a game like Texas, he has the ability to have those games, and that's just who he is. He's super talented. He's got all the tools you need. And there's going to be days where, he throws 5 interceptions, and you're like, shit, man, I wish we could get someone else in there. And then there's going to be like days like Texas where you're like, this is the quarterback I want, being at the helm of my team, taking the horns down. So I think you got to ride with him either way, and you got to stick it out with a guy who is so talented. And I don't think there was ever a point, even when he was not playing well, where we said, this guy's just not talented enough. You know what I mean? So I think it's just growing pains. And hopefully, after Texas, he gets on a roll where, you're starting to see less and less of these growing pains.
I'm going to backtrack for a little bit because I know Brandon spoke about Jaden Rashada earlier. I know this is not part of the preview, but I'm going to ask the question anyway because it popped in my head. Is Jaden Rashada the next Emory Jones?
How so?
They're not developed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think
Emory Jones he's not a starter in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't think you can compare Jaden Rashada's situation to anyone's, really, because that's truly one of the most unique, recruiting situations and just career situations we've seen so far with NIL. That's kind of like the name in NIL where it's like, look how crazy these things can get. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you know, you got to give. I was the biggest Emory Jones hater when I was in college because I loved Anthony Richardson, and I was like, get Anthony Richardson into the game. But you got to give him credit, man. I mean, he made an NFL roster. He had years. I mean, Cincinnati, he was all right. He was not a bad quarterback. So I think Jaden Rashada hasn't proven anything yet. And I mean, I'm not sure.
He's running out of time, isn't he?
He got benched.
I'm not even sure.
State.
Does he start still at Sacramento State, or did he get benched?
He got benched.
I mean, that's just, you know, that's what
that's what happens when your dad is so greedy that he's fine ruining your career. Good job, Harlan. Great Father of the Year award.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a great story for the warning signs of NIL for sure.
All right, guys, let's start with Pick'em. You know, we're gonna leave the game, the Texas A&M game and the Florida game to the last one. So even if I see it, I'm gonna skip it. Friday night matchups. I'm still surprised that they're ranked. USF versus University of North Texas, and USF is ranked 24.
I'm taking USF. That's gonna be a fun game, but I'm taking USF.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I agree. That's gonna be North Texas kind of has been super good out of nowhere. I was really surprised. So I'm still taking USF. I still think USF's a good football team. I think they kind of rode off. North
Texas giving 1.5.
That's what I thought. I thought they were underdogs here. I told you guys last week. I think I said bet Hawaii and they lost, so I'm not going to say that again. But I will say USF.
He loves Hawaii.
I love Hawaii. That's my team right there. But I'm still taking USF here. I think USF gets it done.
Rutgers and Washington. I'm taking USF, even though I wouldn't be surprised if North Texas wins.
I'm taking Washington. I'm just putting my faith in Damon Williams.
Okay.
Simple as that.
I agree. Washington's so talented on offense, and Rutgers, they've been weird this year. They're good.
They have. They've been good, and then all of a sudden they seem like they crap the bed.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there, but Washington's a really good team. I'll take Washington.
I'm taking Washington too. Fresno at Colorado State.
Colorado State, I'm going to say.
I'm going the opposite here. Shout out. I think when we had David Swolderquist on the show, we talked about EJ Warner, and at that point he had like, I forgot what it was, some crazy stat line, like 1 touchdown, 6 picks or something.
Yes.
Something crazy. He's turned his season around, man. He's looked decent these last couple of games. They're 5-1. Really shocking. So I'm taking Fresno State to keep it rolling here.
I'm going with Brandon because I need to catch up to you. Colorado State it is. Number 1, Ohio State at number 17, Illinois.
Ohio State.
Yeah, this one's not a thought, man.
A little bit for me.
You're doing Ohio State too, right, Dylan?
Yeah. Ohio State.
Okay, I'm doing Ohio State just in case you wanted to pick an upset for some reason.
Definitely not this one.
Number 8, Alabama at number 14, Mizzou.
Alabama.
Oh, he's riding the Alabama train.
Ty Simpson's just playing such good football right now. I know people bash Kane Womack, Alabama's DC, all the time. I like him. Liked him for a long while. I'm just going to keep the faith in those two and say that Missouri's not going to be able to keep up. And Bo Papula's got to come down to earth, right? Or Missouri's offense has to come down to earth. I'm going to say Alabama here.
Yeah, I mean, Carlos, you and I both know we've been on the Bama hate train since week one.
Yeah, we've been on the Bama hate train all season long.
They've kind of been making us look stupid a little bit. They look good.
Yeah, we picked Vandy last week.
Yeah.
Vandy,
that was
they almost did it, but they couldn't.
That was a tough game. My logical mind says to pick Alabama here. Like Brandon mentioned, Ty Simpson is so good. I'm still going Missouri. I mean, that offense is so fun to watch. Ahmed Hardy might just be the best running back in college football. I mean, that guy's insane. I love Kevin Coleman and I love Bo Papula. So just to have some fun here, I'll go Missouri. I doubt they win, but let's have some fun.
I'm going to pull for Mizzou, even though I'm going to pick Bama because I need to catch up to Dylan and to all the guests that have been here. So I'm picking Bama. Pitt at number 25, which I still can't believe they're ranked. FSU.
FSU, man. Just like I want Pitt to win that game, so but I just don't think they're going to be able to do it. I think Florida State's got to bounce back at some point. They're still playing decent in the trenches, and they should just outman Pitt.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I told my buddy that goes to FSU, I said, this one might be a close game. You know, they could catch you, but at home for FSU, I think if it was on the road, maybe I'd be comfortable picking Pitt here. But I think, at home, they bounce back. And, they're still, as much as it pains me to say it, they're still a solid team. I don't think they were as good as they were hyped up to be after a couple nice wins, but they're still a solid team. So I'll take FSU here.
Can we see 2-10 again? No,
Oh, man.
I'm picking FSU. I don't think Pitt has the talent to compete with FSU. I don't think that FSU is back. Like they went crazy after they beat Alabama. Come on, it was week 0, guys. UCLA at Michigan State.
God, that game's going to be dreadful. Oh, my Lord. That's going to be ugly. I'm picking Michigan State because I refuse to believe that Nico Iamaleava is going to put together 2 good games in a row.
Yeah, I mean, shout out UCLA. I think we all kind of said they were dead, and they pulled off a miracle there. I didn't get to watch because I was at the Texas game, but looked like a great game. That being said, Carlos, you know me. I'm a big Aiden Childs guy. I'm riding with them. A lot of the times I pick them, and I was like, damn, I shouldn't have picked them, and I'm an idiot. But I still got faith in my boys, so give me Michigan State here.
I'm going to pick FSU, and I'm going to pick Michigan State. I think UCLA, they need to go in a different direction. Stanford at SMU.
Yeah, no thought here, SMU.
Yeah. SMU for me. UCF at Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Cincinnati brought it to Iowa State last week. I'm going to think they could do that again to UCF.
Yeah, I'm starting to put some respect on Cincinnati's name. I kind of thought they were not that good coming into the year, especially when they kept it close with Nebraska. I kind of started looking at Nebraska in a different light, but it's starting to look like Cincinnati's just a good football team. I'm not a big fan of UCF this year. Give me Cincinnati, but I think it will be a fun game.
I'm going to do Cincinnati and SMU for the last game. Houston at OK State.
Houston. Also, all of a sudden, Austin Armstrong's good at his job again.
He doesn't need a babysitter like he had at Florida.
I think it's because Willie Fritz is 1,000 years old as the head coach of Houston. He's just like, it basically is.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I mean, that was really shocking to see him actually do well there, but they look good. So give me Houston here, I think, pretty easily.
I'm going to take Houston. University where we hired Billy Napier from University of Louisiana and James Madison University.
James Madison. I want Michael Desormeaux to do well at Louisiana, but this year is not going well. So
yeah, I think this one's pretty easy. James Madison. They always feel like the safe pick, and I think they'll get it done. I'm
taking Houston, and I'm taking James Madison. COT at Army.
Army.
Okay.
I'm gonna agree here. I don't think Charlotte's too good of a football team this year. So
you liked Charlotte for a couple weeks.
No. I said I liked Charlotte last year, and then Max Brown disappointed the heck out of me, just like it was FSU all over again. So I'll take Army here.
I'm taking Army also, and I'm taking James Madison also. Miami of Ohio at Akron.
Miami of Ohio.
I agree. Akron's probably one of the worst football teams in all of college football, and Miami of Ohio is pretty solid. So give me a Miami.
I'm taking Miami of Ohio. I already know what Brandon's gonna pick next game. Toledo at
BG SMU CKS.
Yeah. Bowling Green.
Scumbags.
Who are you gonna pick? Toledo?
I'm always picking Toledo. I don't care who they're playing unless it's Florida. Unless it's Florida, I'm picking Toledo.
I will go with Toledo for you, Brandon. And I was already going to do it anyways, but I'll go with it for you.
Never ever pick Bowling Green. Scumbag.
The only time I picked Bowling Green was when Urban Meyer was there before he became our coach.
That's fair. Urban Meyer at Bowling Green, Nick Saban at Toledo. 2 just all-timers from the MAC right there.
Yes. I'm going to pick Army and Toledo, Washington State at number 4, Ole Miss, and Lane Train.
Ole Miss might win that game by 1,000.
Put some respect on Zeviakis. I mean, Carlos, you know I've been hyping.
Yes, I know you love him.
I'm not taking the upset. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, I thought he was.
No. Ole Miss is winning this game, but I mean, I'm excited to see what Washington State's offense can do. They've looked a lot better recently, so I'm excited for that.
I'm picking Ole Miss. NIU versus Eastern Michigan.
Oof, that's another one that's gonna just absolutely suck.
It's gonna blow.
I'm gonna pick Eastern Michigan, I guess. Like, that game's gonna be hideous.
And it's a 1:00 game too.
Oh my goodness. One. They're both 1-5, right? Or am I tripping?
Yeah, I believe so.
Both 1-5. I mean, both these teams flat out suck. No offense to them, but they do. I think Eastern Michigan wins just because they have a really good running back, regardless of how bad they are. Their running back's pretty solid, so give me Eastern Michigan here. And
a cool field.
Yeah, there you go.
Give me Eastern Michigan on that one. UMass, I can't. Another one that pretty much.
Oh my god. I was gonna say I'll never pick Kent State in a game, and then I was like, it's UMass. Kent State, I guess.
Yeah.
They have a win, right? And UMass doesn't, I think.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I'm going to have to agree. Kent State here, I think, I didn't get to watch them against FSU, but I do know that they had like a 70-yard touchdown or something crazy, like a big drive. So
yep.
I'll take Kent State here just for that.
Give me Eastern Michigan and give me Kent State because I don't know if I already said Eastern Michigan before, but due to the editor, I wanted to make sure of that. Number 7, Indiana, and number 3, Oregon. Do we have an upset, Brandon?
I'm torn. I think I'm going to pick Oregon. But Pop pulling off the upset wouldn't be super shocking to me. I just don't know.
Do you know the spread? Do you want me to give you the spread?
It's like a touchdown, right?
7.5.
Yeah. I'm taking Oregon to win. I don't know about the spread, but I think
Oregon's giving 7.5, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think I'm going Oregon too. I've been pretty high on them since that Penn State one. I know Penn State, Drew Allard does not look very good, and Penn State does not look very good, but I think Dante Moore in a whiteout, he looked nails. He balled out. So I like Oregon here. And, yeah, I don't know about the spread, but I think Oregon gets it done pretty handily.
I'm going Oregon, even though I can see a world where Indiana may pull it out, and then I'll be crying and pulling my hair. Number 6, Oklahoma at the Texas Longhorns.
Oklahoma by a lot.
Oh, man. Really?
Oklahoma by a lot.
You're making me rethink it here. I sat here and looked at this one for a while. And don't get me wrong, I'm a John Mateer guy. I like John Mateer. He's back, I believe, or he's questionable. But they're saying he's pushing to play. I just feel like this is a weird one where Texas looked so bad against us, and then out of nowhere they look good here. And I mean, it's the Red River rivalry. Red
River rivalry.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
I understood what you meant.
And I just think, crazy stuff happens, and I'm pulling Texas here. I think, I got to give it credit to Arch Manning because early on in that game, I was kind of like, yeah, this guy's not very good. I mean, when I'm on the field, I have to record the plays with my camera, and I knew where he was throwing every time because he would just get the ball and stare right where he was going. But he turned it around there. I mean, he looked like a good quarterback late in the game. Tough environment. I give them a lot of credit, and I think they pull off a random upset here and shock the world a little bit.
I kind of agree with you, Dylan, but is it really that Archie was good, or is it that Billy Napier let off the gas?
That is true, but he made some throws, man. Like there was one in particular where he had some guy in his chest, and he hit for like a 15-yard pass. That was really impressive. So, I don't know. He looked good to me.
I think Arch played about as well as you can for someone who gets pressured 40 times in the game. That's a lot of pressure. It's like that's that. Yeah, that was tough as hell for him, and he was tough as hell for going through.
Yeah. He was tough as nails. I'll give him that much. But he's not Peyton or he's not Eli. I'll tell you that much.
That's very true. No one can beat Eli though. He's the GOAT.
Yep.
I'm picking Oklahoma. No upset there. Virginia Tech at number 13. Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah, this one's pretty obvious. Georgia Tech.
Yeah, Georgia Tech by a lot for me. North Carolina State at number 16. Notre Dame.
Notre Dame to win. North Carolina State to cover.
I like that. Carlos, I love me some NC State.
I know you do.
Bailey. I'm not pulling the upset, but I do think they cover. I think it's a fun game, if only, a fun game. I think Notre Dame gets it done, though.
I'm saying Notre Dame, too, and I'm saying Georgia Tech. Number 22, Iowa State at Primetime's Colorado Buffaloes. Maybe his last year in Colorado. And by the way, before we pick this game, I already read an article that Billy Belichick may be gone from North Carolina after the season.
Yep. Tough stuff, but that dude was never going to work out in college football. That is never going to happen.
Shout out to you, Carlos. You called that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I called it week 0.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's going to be brutal. Put a nice little tarnish on his on the end of his career, at least there. Pretty much since Brady left, he did not help himself. The moment Brady left the Pats, and he was just like, I can do it without Brady, and then he proved that he could not do it time and time again.
Yes.
Really tough. I'm picking Iowa State.
Okay.
I am a big Matt Campbell guy. He was the head coach at Toledo my freshman year, so that is why I'm a big Matt Campbell guy. I refuse to believe that he will let me down 2 weeks in a row, so I'm taking Iowa State there.
Yeah, this is another one where it's in my gut, and I got bit in the ass for doing this a couple weeks ago. I felt Colorado was going to beat BYU. I just had a feeling, and they almost did. They almost had it, but they didn't get it done. I think they get it done here. I mean, no offense to, Matt Campbell, Brandon, but I think Iowa State has been, a lot to be desired from that team, especially after week 1 where it or week 0 where it felt like, this team's a good team. They've kind of fallen off a little bit. And I think, at some point, Colorado just feels like that team where it gets weird with them every week. And I think, this one being in Boulder, being in Colorado, I think I saw something. Will Dion be on the sidelines? I know he's been having some flare-ups with that. Will he be on the sideline? I'm not sure.
Not sure yet.
That's why I think he may be gone after. That's another one I think may be gone after this season.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of adversity going on over there, and I think they pull one out for their coach. Give me the upset here. Give me Colorado.
Give me Iowa State. Just because it's Iowa State. Dan Campbell's actually been on the list of rumors in case the guy that can't get out of his way gets fired.
Look, I love Matt. I do not want him coaching Florida.
Okay.
I love Matt Campbell so much at Iowa State. Good job. I love that one. I do not want him at Florida.
Refresh my memory. Did Penn State get beat last week?
Did Penn State?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why they're unranked. Okay. I was looking at the game like, what happened?
Yeah, 42-37.
Holy crap. And they got unranked. They were number 2 in the country.
They lost to UCLA, who didn't have a win.
I don't think they had a win. Yeah,
that's true. It was UCLA
had
last
lost
week.
35.
That's why they got unranked. Ooh. Northwestern at Penn State.
Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, ugly win. Ugly game last week, but give me the bounce back here. I was a little too high on Penn State, I'll admit it, but give me them here.
Give me Penn State. Nebraska at Maryland.
Probably a lot of points scored in that game. Nebraska, though, I think I'm going to take. Especially after Maryland folded how they did last week.
Yes, they did fold last week.
I thought about this one for a while just because I think it's in Maryland.
Yes,
Maryland
it is in Maryland. And I'll give you the spread because you already. It's only 6. Nebraska giving 6.5.
6.5. I think it's a close. I think it's a really close game. I think I need to start putting respect on Maryland. I told everyone Washington was gonna, blow their doors out. I thought Washington was the much better team, and you mentioned it. It was a really close game. They had a chance to win that one. So that being said, I still got to take Nebraska here, but I think it's a really close game.
I'm taking Nebraska. Now, I think the next game is going to be boring as hell. It might be very low scoring. Wake Forest at Oregon State.
Wake Forest, Oregon State. Have they won a game yet? I don't think so.
Oh,
Yeah, no. Yeah,
this
no.
Is the Zero Bowl.
Yeah, they're not doing that this time yet. So I'm taking Wake Forest there.
Yeah, I agree, man. I didn't imagine it being so bad at Oregon State. I'm a Malik Murphy guy, but wow, it's bad. And as much as I think Wake Forest is also bad, I got to go Wake Forest here.
So the better of the bad teams is Wake Forest for all three of us.
I think so.
TCU at Kansas State.
TCU. I don't think Kansas State's as bad as their record says at all.
I think this is going to be a close game.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to take TCU here.
Yeah, I'm playing devil's advocate. I think TCU wins in a blow. I love me some TCU. I mean, it's bit me in the butt a little bit. That Arizona State game was awful. One of the worst chokes I've ever seen. But I still think TCU. I think Josh Hoover is one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. I think TCU, comes out there and just blows it up. Give me TCU.
Give me TCU by 10.
Oh, I love it, Carlos.
Air Force at Crybaby Dan Mullen and UNLV Rebels.
UNLV. I mean, he's gonna find ways to beat all these Group of 5 teams.
Yeah,
you almost got beat by Idaho State.
Ooh. Almost though. He found a way.
By 3, I think he won.
Hey, wins are wins. I'm cool with it.
Well, people were predicting he's going to the playoffs.
He's still good. They're undefeated, right?
Yep.
Yeah, they are.
Hey, listen, that schedule is very open, and
I hope they go to the playoff because I think that they'll lose by 70. I hope they go to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they're the best bad team I've ever watched, just because they're undefeated, but that defense is awful. I still love Anthony.
I told you that week 0 after week 0, Dylan.
Yeah, but hey, I told you about Anthony Calandria though. That guy's a dog, man.
He is. I gotta give him that.
I know. I'm taking him here. I think it could be a sneaky game where Air Force they've kind of been sneaky this year. They've put some fight, but I'll take UNLV.
I'm taking UNLV, even though their defense can't even stop a nosebleed. App versus Georgia State.
App State.
Yeah, I agree. App State here.
App State for me too. Old Dominion at Marshall.
Oh, Old Dominion. Always.
Yeah, Old Dominion's looking good this year. I'll take Old Dominion to keep it rolling.
Give me Old Dominion too. Ball State at WMU.
I'll take Western.
I agree. I've actually watched a little bit of Western Michigan. I watched them against Michigan State, and they look like a good team actually. So I'll take Western Michigan here. I think they're a solid squad.
Give me App and Old Dominion, and give me Western Michigan. Navy at Temple.
Navy. Not that I love either of them, but
I was close to taking Temple here. I was really close.
Wow.
I was really close, but then I kind of was just like, Navy's gonna run all over them. Their quarterback's solid, so I'll go Navy here.
I'm going Navy. Arkansas at number 12, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah, this one's pretty easy. Tennessee for me.
Give me Tennessee. Give me. I already did Navy already. University of Alabama, Birmingham at FAU.
I'll take UAB.
I think this one's going to be another battle of the bad, 50-50. I'm taking the Florida team though. I like FAU's quarterback, so give me FAU.
Give me UAB. I'm skipping the next game because that's the last game we're going to cover. Iowa at Wisconsin.
Oh God, that one's gonna be ugly as well.
It's boring. It's going to be boring because they're not the Iowa and Wisconsin we're used to.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Iowa race to like 13 to win the game is all it's gonna be.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm not a big Wisconsin fan this year, and Iowa's actually, they're Iowa. They do their thing, so I'll take Iowa.
I'm taking Iowa too, and San Jose State at Wyoming.
San Jose State.
Yeah, I agree. San Jose State here.
Give me San Jose State too. University of Louisiana Monroe at CCU.
I'll take Coastal. Not that I'm gonna watch that game, but I'll take Coastal in it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take the other side. I'll go UL Monroe. I think they got a decent squad.
I'm going to take Coastal Carolina just for shits and giggles. Kansas Jayhawks at number 9, Texas Tech.
Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech is a really good team. Give me Texas Tech.
Give me Texas Tech. Number 10, Georgia at Auburn.
Georgia. I hate every time I gotta say that name, but
I
Georgia.
do too.
I was shocked by this spread though. Isn't it like -1.5? Georgia.
I'll tell you right now. Nope, it went up. -3.5.
Okay, a
Went up
little
2 points.
more understanding. I don't think Auburn's very a good team. I guess they're at home, and Georgia hasn't looked too amazing either. But I'm still taking Georgia here. I think Jackson Arnold is a fraud. No offense, but he's not a great quarterback. So give me Georgia.
Who's Auburn's coach?
Hugh Freeze.
Oh, it's still Hugh Freeze? He's probably gone.
For now. For now.
Yeah. That tells you that he had good teams at Ole Miss. Give me Georgia. Blowout. Auburn shouldn't even get off the bus. Number 15, Michigan at USC.
Michigan, I refuse to pick Lincoln Riley.
I'm going the other way. Give me the upset here. USC's at home. They got a good offense, man. I think their wide receivers are awesome. So I'll go with the upset. USC.
Give me Michigan. I need to catch up to Dylan. Purdue at Minnesota.
That one's gonna suck too. Minnesota.
Yep.
I've shared my distaste for Minnesota so much over this. I think they're not a good team at all. Give me Purdue here. I think Minnesota's favored by a lot, but give me Purdue here.
I'll tell you right now. Let me look at it. Not much. 7.5. Give me Purdue. Clemson at BC.
Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, they got to figure it out at some point. They kind of did. I guess you can say they did last week. I don't know about all that.
Do you think Dabo's on the hot seat?
Nice slump buster.
Do you think Dabo's on the hot seat?
I don't know how you justify firing a guy that's done what he's done.
That's what I was gonna say. He's such a weird coach to fire. I don't know how you could do it unless you got really big balls. You gotta have confidence to do that.
Give me Clemson. Rice at UTSA.
UTSA.
Yeah, I agree. UTSA is a pretty good squad.
Give me UTSA. South Carolina at LSU. Number 11 LSU.
LSU, I think I need to see something from Lenore Sellers consistently there. And also I refuse to believe in Shane Beamer because he is the only coach that I can think of that has played Billy Napier multiple times and not won a single one of those games. So
yeah, I agree. I shared my distaste for South Carolina a lot too. I could see this game going differently. LSU has just been weird this year. Garrett Nussmeier, like the offense being bad was just such a shock to me. I don't know. Maybe some people saw it coming, but I was like, there's never going to be a time where LSU's offense is bad, and they're very bad. So
I was concerned with their offensive line. That was it. Just because I was like, they're replacing so much, but even then, I didn't think they'd be this bad.
Yeah, I mean, they don't look very good, but I'm still taking LSU.
I'm torn here because I like Lenore Sellers, but I think LSU's going to win. Number 18 BYU at Arizona. Give
me the upset here. Give me it's at Arizona.
It is BYU, at Arizona.
I've said it before. I think they're kind of fraudulent. I've earned their respect a little bit because they've looked pretty solid these last few weeks. But I love Noah Fafita. I think at home he tears it up. Give me Arizona.
Give me BYU. Troy at Texas State.
Texas State.
I agree. I think home field advantage gets it done for Texas State.
Texas State for me. University of New Mexico at Boise.
Boise State.
Yeah, I agree. Boise State, pretty easy.
Give me Boise in the blue field. Arizona State at number 21. Arizona State at Utah. He's torn.
I'm gonna take Utah.
Wow, he picked the upset.
I feel like Arizona State is just a weird team right now. I'm gonna
they're not the same Arizona State that last year. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that Mississippi State game was a ugly one. I
have to agree with I have to agree with Brandon on that one.
Yeah, I'm going Utah too. I came into the year thinking Utah was really good. Obviously, that Texas Tech game was really their downfall, and that was really ugly. I also think Arizona State's a little overrated now because of the TCU game I mentioned, where Josh Hoover just decided to give them that game. It was very nice of him, but it wasn't, I don't think it was much of Arizona State thing. So give me Utah here. I think they bounce back.
Give me Utah also. San Diego State and Nevada.
San Diego State.
Yeah, I agree. San Diego State.
San Diego State also for me. USU at Dylan's favorite team. I think that would be a second alma mater if he could go there. Hawaii.
Yeah, I was going to say, go ahead, Dylan. I'm pretty sure we're on the same page with this one.
Actually, I thought about this one for a long time.
Wow, okay.
It pained me because I love Hawaii. I love Micah Alejandro. I got to go with Utah State. I feel it in my bones. I can't let Carlos catch up to me. I think, as much as I love Hawaii, I think Utah State gets it done here.
I'm taking Hawaii.
I'm taking Hawaii.
Hey, I hope you guys are right because I love me some Hawaii.
The emotional hedge you get going there.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Our Florida Gators at Texas A&M. Give me your 5 keys to Florida winning the game. Yeah, and your prediction. And score. And give me your 5 keys.
21-18. It's not going to be a high-scoring game at all.
And your 5 keys?
Win the penalty battle.
Okay.
Texas A&M, very heavily penalized team, even at home.
Okay.
Win early downs, like I said at the top of the show. Keep them into 3rd and longs. They suck in those situations.
Correct.
Find explosives on offense. You had the 60-yarder to VB3. You had the 55-yarder to Dallas Wilson. Keep that going.
Okay.
Win the turn, or don't lose the turnover battle. I think to me that's more important than winning it.
I agree.
Don't lose the turnover battle. If you tie, you tie there. And so I think it's those 4, and 5 is just do the basics right. Like pre-snap, don't rush things. I think that was the thing they kept doing a lot earlier in the year too. Just get your. I think last week one of the biggest, most impressive things they did was just to get the communication on the line right. Like you watch the USF and the LSU game. USF didn't get much pressure, but when they did, it was usually some kind of miscommunication on the offensive line. You look at the LSU game, so many of the pressures were miscommunications on the offensive line, just guys running in unblocked. Miami, they just got their asses handed to them, plain and simple. That is the only game where I will say, hey, they just got their asses handed to them. Everything else seemed communication issues. They cleaned that up against Texas. Texas A&M, much more creative defensively, I think. Mike Elka's going to throw the book at them. I think Jay Bateman and Sean Spencer are going to want to do some nice things to you, or some not so nice things to you. Make sure that you got those basics down, and we're talking about winning this football game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I mean, Brandon's making me more confident than I came into it with. I think for my five.
Hold on. Before you go, Brandon, I'm going to add Billy Napier. Please stay out of your own way.
Oh, well, he's never going to do that one, so just chop that one off the list anyway.
Oh, man. All right, for my 5 takeaways or keys, number 1 is just containing Marcel Reed in the pocket. I think Florida's had so much trouble with mobile quarterbacks. Even Arch, who isn't like, Lamar Jackson, but he can run the ball. We saw him have a lot of big plays, breaking, the pocket and getting loose. I think, for Florida to really be successful on defense, you have to keep Marcel contained. I think Miles Graham is an awesome linebacker to have when that's a problem because he's probably one of the better spies in the country. You know, he's super fast, super athletic. So that's number one. Number two is establish the run. I think that's
Run the ball.
Yeah, run the ball, man. I think that's a huge part of why Florida's offense looked better against Texas is that, you know, we established the run and we made them respect it so that when we were through the RPO to Dallas Wilson, you know, they weren't like, oh, here it comes. Like, we know what's coming. You know, they were really scared of Jaden Ball, who is an amazing running back and everyone should be scared about. So establish the run. Number three is just, I really hope that Florida's offense can build off of their, you know, pass blocking against Texas. I thought, you know, Texas has a good D-line. I think a lot of us kind of expected to get bullied on the offensive versus defensive line. Colin Simmons, obviously, number one. I think he ended up with like four hurries, but no sacks. I think if they can continue to, you know, give DJ Lagway time to take those deep shots that Brandon mentioned, I mean, that's the huge part about his game, and that's the huge part about our offense that we really need. So I think it all comes down to, can they give DJ Lagway time? Number four, and I mentioned it earlier with Lagway, is just staying composed in a really tough environment. I think Florida's really young in their entire roster, and we saw it against LSU with Lagway. I think, you know, when you're leaning on a lot of these young guys, especially at your quarterback position, Kyle Field can change a game for you. You know, they can eat you alive. I also think that added emotional component that this was a team that really, really went after DJ Lagway. Recruiting-wise, this is where he's from. He's from Texas. He has a lot of relationships. He has, I mean, we talked about it on Monday, Carlos, the connection with, I forgot his first name, York on the other side. You know, they were going at it last year.
Yeah, they were.
So I think that's a big thing, is just staying composed, not letting the environment, you know, be too much for you. Because at the end of the day, this game could just come down to, can Kyle Field overwhelm Florida enough where, you know, it gets out of hand early. And lastly is, Brandon mentioned it, avoid turnovers, win the turnover battle. And that goes into my last one, is just, you know, if we come out there and we have an early turnover, you know, it almost happened last week. Dallas Wilson fumbled the ball, very first play. That would have been catastrophic. If, you know, we come out and DJ Lagway turns the ball over, Kyle Field will eat you alive. It will get ugly early. And I think, you know, if you want to win on the road, you can't let them get huge momentum in a stadium that's going to be, you know, is one of the hardest to play in the country. And we see Florida, we see the Swamp win you games. You can't let Kyle Field win you game or lose you a game. Sorry. And I think that starts with not turning the ball over. So that being said, you know, it's a tough one because I find it hard to trust Florida on the road because they haven't ever been good on the road.
I wonder why.
They haven't ever been good this year. I mean, the Miami game gives me some hope because, yeah, the offense was, you know, pissing down their leg in a way. They didn't look too good, but the defense, you know, held their own. That was a winnable game. Even LSU was a winnable game other than the offense again. So it's hard for me to trust the offense. That being said, you know, Disney Gator it up. Let's go Florida here. Brandon gave me some confidence. I'll go Florida, and I will go 24-17. I'll go 24-17. I think our defense, you know, holds them pretty well. And I think, you know, with this football team, it's the matter of, can Florida's offense get enough points to help out our defense? And, you know, I'm pretty confident in our defense. So let's hope that, you know, Lagway shows out the way he did against Texas and we get it done.
My 5 keys. Pressure the quarterback. I want to see energy from DJ Lagway. If he comes out flat, we're in trouble. Number 3, run Jaden Ball. I could care less about any other running back. Give Jaden Ball 30 touches a game, and you're going to win the game. Number 4, Billy Napier, keep on the gas. The last 5 minutes, please don't have me biting my nails if we're up by 8 points or 10 points, because you did that last game. And number 5, let Ron Roberts just run the defense and keep the quarterback contained because that kid can run. And keep a spy on him. My final score, 28-24 Florida.
Love it. Surely all of us pick.
Yeah, there's no way that's going to backfire.
Where can they find your work and where can they follow you? Shout out your YouTube channel. Don't leave after we stop recording. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, find all my video work and audio with Locked On Gators every day, and immediately following every Florida game. All my written work with swampsignal.substack.com. 3 articles a week coming out there.
Where can they find your work, Dylan?
Yes, sir. You guys know the deal. Gators on SI. Go check out all our work. We got a ton of good writers. Other than Cam Parker, who's the worst. Go check out my Twitter, DylanOlive_UF. And I appreciate, Brandon coming on. I appreciate Carlos for having me. And let's hope that Florida turns it around here. Go Gators.
Go Gators. Like always, stay positive, stay on your grind, and go Gators. Peace. We'll talk to you soon.